All right, let's break it down. Our political insiders join us now to break down the events of the day. I'm joined by Republican strategist Charlie Giroux, and in for Mark Single is Joe Powers. Joe, thanks for being here. Guys, with these three senators announcing today that they're going to vote yes, is there anything that could happen that would change this vote before tomorrow? What?
Highly unlikely, but yes. I mean, the fat lady is now beginning to warble, but it's not over, as my friend Yogi Berra once said, until it's over. Until that final gavel comes down with 50 votes or 51 votes, it's not over, but this is a gigantic step in the right direction.
Warbling.
It is over. They have the votes. I don't see anybody else going the other way. And so I'm not sure I would agree it's a gigantic step in the right direction, but they do have the votes.
Were you surprised at Susan Collins today?
Absolutely not. I think that was wired from the time last Friday when they began discussing this. They gave her the cover through the FBI investigation. She herself is now in deep political trouble. Her numbers are cratering. There's already been $1.8 million raised for whoever runs against her. But I thought it was pretty sure that she was going to vote the way she did.
Everybody said, you know, it would take something monumental before anything could change before tomorrow's vote. So, Charlie, as Kavanaugh is confirmed to be the next Supreme Court justice, does he go in with a cloud over his head?
No, not really. I mean, look, the Democratic opposition to Judge Kavanaugh was set in stone before he was even nominated. Many of them said we're going to be against anybody that Donald Trump nominates. Brett Kavanaugh just happened to be that person. They chose to take some really, really untoward tactics to try to block his nomination. You know, the storyline changed from day to day. You know, the final thing was he didn't have judicial temperament and that kind of stuff, which the record is just completely the opposite on. So I think he's going to go in. He's going to be a fine justice on the Supreme Court of the United States. The real fight, and I think Joe will agree with me on this, the real fight is over the next nomination.
Joe, your thoughts on it?
Well, there will be a cloud over him. His performance last week was totally unjudicial, and particularly that phrase, what comes around goes around, is something that shouldn't be said. That kind of threat shouldn't be said by anybody in the court, much less a justice of the Supreme Court.
Do you guys think this is going to change the country's view of the Supreme Court?
No.
View it as a political entity and not a legal entity?
Oh, I do think there will be more and more people who view the Supreme Court, unfortunately, as yet another part of the tribal wars that are going on in the United States.
Joe Powers, Charlie Giroux, thank you, gentlemen, for coming in. Really appreciate it. You can hear more from our political insiders Sunday mornings at 8:30 on CBS 21's Face the State.